there's people right now who are in the exact same place as they were last year because they're repeating the cycle of like pushing things off or not taking the action they need to take or not making the investments or not saying yes. And they're just living in the same loop over and over and over again. And it's like, if you're in the same place you were last year or in a worse place or not in the place you want to be, you need to start taking different action because otherwise you're going to, what month are we in? September 2024 is going to come and you're still going to be in the exact same place. So like Nat said, the time's going to pass. What are you doing with it?
hmm Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the She's Aligned podcast. We hope that you all had a beautiful new moon. Today, we're going to be talking about overnight success. So, we don't know if we're going to call it the myth of overnight success, but we do feel like there's this misconception of overnight success. So, I'm excited to dive into that topic with Natalia. But first and foremost, we wanted to follow up with how are we all feeling with the new moon? What did we release? Is there anything you want to say?
Only that we are on Zoom again.
Oh, yes.
If you're watching on YouTube, I don't have COVID. Nat doesn't have COVID. Dan has COVID.
My boyfriend has COVID. So now, yeah, second week in a row now that we're recording on Zoom.
Yeah, hopefully
But
next week we'll get back to the studio. I miss it.
me too. Me too. I really do. I miss also just kind of being out and about. But yeah. Anyways, we also need to get back to the gym together. This will
Yes.
be the third week that we haven't really been back at the gym, but we're just kind of ready to get back into the swing of things. So yeah, if you're watching this and you're like, well, what the hell is going on? Well, that's what's going on. COVID is kind of like on the rise again. So we all need to be careful there. But anyways, so yes, about the new moon, how are we all feeling?
hmm
Is there anything you want to say, Natalia, about the new moon?
I just know because, okay, at the time of recording this, the new moon has not happened yet, but we're approaching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just know that I tend to feel really good around new moons. I don't feel very good around full moons, but I feel really good around new moon and the energy. Like I feel great this week. I actually, you know what I did this morning? When I woke up, I felt called to block off Thursday and not work that day. And I don't know why, like I have a really hard time with that. Like usually like my personality is like, no, like it's Thursday, you need to work, especially because I only work 4 days a week right now. But I felt really called to block off Thursday. And I'm not saying I'm not going to work. I just think there's a very specific type of creative work I'm going to be doing. Um, and by the time this episode airs, I'll have launched like my new branding. So I'm excited for that. And that's what I want to work on Thursday.
Yeah.
So I just really want to be in the energy. So I'm excited to be on the other side of that because I think I'm going to feel, no pun intended, just more aligned. And I think that's what new moons do. Like, I think the full moon you release and then the new moon you align. It's like release something that doesn't align anymore. And then the new moon, bring yourself back into alignment. So I'm excited to be in that energy of like alignment because I felt a little bit misaligned around my business the last couple of weeks, specifically around my content. And I knew like there just needed to be a shift. So I'm excited to have shifted and just feel better about it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good observation. I'm actually the opposite when it comes to full moons and new moons. So I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel on the new moon on Thursday, right?
hmm
Thursday. Is it Thursday?
Yeah.
Is it?
I'm just gonna double check, but I'm pretty
Oh, it is. It
sure.
is because the 15th is Friday. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm curious to see how I'm going to feel. You know, what's funny is that like I'm excited for this new moon, but usually with new moons, I don't do a lot of work as much as I do with full moons. And I'm talking about like ritual energy work. I do more
hmm
around the full moons. I don't know why I feel like really attracted to full moons so much. Natalia gets drained on full moons. I get a ton of energy with the full moons. I just love them so much.
Yes. I'm always like, I'm dying. And Nat's like, I feel great. And I'm like, must be nice. Like, I'm over here suffering.
So they actually say that full moons will amplify you.
Full
So,
moons? Oh, thanks.
mhm. I know. I just caught that. I was like, wait a second. But I think with this new moon, I'm excited to see how it's going to play out in business because there has been a lot of up level.
Hmm.
But I think also because Mercury retrograde is on the verge of ending around
Hmm.
when the full moon is happening. Like we mentioned in the previous episode, I really feel like I'm being called to go within and kind of work through the little details that I need to kind of, solidify with how I'm going to continue growing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I'm kind of excited to see how this will play out.
And you know, it's crazy. I just checked my app because I thought I was going to start my period last week, but I was off by a week. I'm supposed to start this Thursday. And you started your period on the full
Yes,
moon, didn't you? This is
I'm
crazy.
telling you, you're aligned to the new moon and I'm aligned to the full moon.
Yeah. And I'm like, I just checked my app and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm supposed to start my period on Thursday. And I
Yeah.
tend to be synced with the new moon. So I'm just like, that's probably why I felt energetically. It was like block that day off. Like you need
Yes.
to like it's just gonna be a very magical day for me, I think.
Yes. Yes. So we're excited to know if you guys share with us, obviously, to see how this new moon is going to impact you. We hope that
Hmm.
you're working on those goals and whatever it is that you're looking to start.
Yeah. And keep going because you just started, first of all. But second of all, it's so easy to get distracted, to want to give up, to find excuses. But the best thing you can do is build consistency. I do believe in flow, absolutely, but I also believe that we need to balance it with consistency. So make sure that you stay consistent with whatever you're working towards.
I agree. I agree. You can't achieve any results without consistency and a routine.
Mm-mm.
So,
Yeah.
okay. So now, have you checked to see how many questions we've gotten for what would Nat do? I'm so
Last
curious.
time we had to, let me see, submit questions.
Yeah, submit question, guys. I'm so excited to like answer these questions because it's like, what would we do? Not
We
like,
still have two.
damn it, guys.
We only have two people that want our advice.
I think what we need to do is just post it a little bit more on the stories. You know what I think we need to do, and let it, if you're listening, let us know if you agree with this and DM us. But I think that Natalia and I need to put our faces more on the She's Aligned stories. I think we need to be more active on there, and I think we need to treat it more like how can I say it? Like our number one priority if we want to grow it.
Maybe that should be our new moon intention.
For She's Aligned.
Yeah, like
I
we
love
show up
that.
more on, I think we should. I think people want to see our face.
I agree. And then, it's funny because I've noticed that when you and I are more active on stories, we get more engagement with people.
So true.
So, people want to engage with faces and not just,
Voices,
not even
nothingness,
just
the
graphic
void.
posts,
Yeah,
the
the
nothing.
void. I know we haven't been as active on the account, guys, and we apologize. Like, life has just been crazy.
Very crazy.
Like, it's like, I don't know if you guys have felt that the energy has been so like one thing after the other. And I think we're just trying to keep up with life, with our businesses, but She's Aligned is very important to us. So we have not forgotten about you. The
I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we needed to talk about.
workshop.
Oh, the workshop. Okay. Do you want to say anything about that?
Just that tickets are live at this point. So if you want to join us in person, please come join us. It's going to be magical. It's a complete like embodiment focused workshop on your sacral. So your sacral chakra holds your creativity, your feminine energy. Um, it just holds so much. Like, and if you feel like you're stagnant, and I'll just say this, like if you feel like you're stagnant creatively, sexually, if you have a hard time having fun, experiencing pleasure, being in your body, um, if you have issues even with your period, it could be because there's something in your sacral that is just energetically like blocked or that needs to be released. So I would invite you to come join us, like, especially if you want to just learn to love on your body more, be more in your body in a safe way. We're going to help you guys release. We're going to help you embody. We're going to use belly dance, and we're collaborating with Janisa, who's just amazing. She's going to be helping you guys with some releasing and transmuting of sacral energy. So we only have 15 spots, so make sure you grab your ticket if you want to join us.
I do want to add that I think the one thing that's helped me be very confident in myself and feel sexy has been belly dancing. And because I've been belly dancing for so long that something about it just makes you feel really connected to yourself and
Yeah.
makes you feel really sexy. So I think that that has always helped me with my confidence. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, that we've been belly dancing since we were early teenagers. So it's just a beautiful way to express yourself. And I love it because even now that I'm an adult and I hear music with like a really nice beat, or if I hear like, and oh my God, I'm getting the chills, or if I hear like any like Arabic, Egyptian drum music, like it is these emotions go through my body that I just start to feel immediately like very like sexy. And I just like want to start moving, and it's just feeling very in tune with yourself. So I think this is going to be really beautiful to work on releasing anything that's stagnant and then coming home to your own body and
Yeah.
feeling I'm getting the chills. And just being so like in tune with yourself and appreciating your body for what it is and what it does for you and the way it holds you.
Yeah.
And I told Natalia that I would love a portion when we're dancing, because I do know that some of us can get uncomfortable if the lights are on and we're dancing because we can think that other people are looking at us, but in reality, nobody really looks at us. So I was telling Natalia that I would love for there to be a portion of the workshop where the lights are really dim, super,
Mhm.
super dim, and everyone's just feeling the music and kind of moving with it. And I think that that's going to be so beautiful. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of people are going to fall in love with the art of belly dancing and what it can do for you.
I think so too. And I want to encourage you guys, even if you've never belly danced, this is going to be beginner friendly. Even if you're not a dancer, you feel like you're not good at dancing, it's not about that. It's
Mm-hmm.
about being in your body. So even if you've never belly danced, this will be absolutely for beginners. Um, it doesn't matter if you're not a good dancer, so don't feel embarrassed to join us.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So exciting. Okay. So do we want to get into the topic now?
Yes.
Okay. So overnight success. Okay. So I think it goes two ways, right? I think, oh my God, Berlioz is in a cardboard box that's full of like tissue cardboard paper that he loves. And he's in there right now sleeping. So if he moves, it's going to crinkle. I just realized that. um, so I think there's two ways that we can view this. The majority of people think that overnight success happens in a blink of an eye, but the majority of it is people grinding at something for years, a long ass time, and then it just takes that one thing to push them to overnight success. But then you have like the 1% that literally has overnight success. And that's what we're not talking about that today, because it's really rare for anyone to legit have overnight success. Like the odds are like winning the lottery.
Yeah.
So that's really rare. But I'm excited to talk about this because a lot of people, you know, can look at people um, and think that they've had it easy, that their business exploded, that they didn't put in a lot of work without realizing that this person did the inner work, did the labor work, did everything that they had to. There goes Berlioz.
It's
Hold
okay.
on.
Maya's barking in the background. I don't know if you can hear her, but we have kids, you guys. We have animal kids. So
Do you hear Berlioz right now?
no.
Okay.
Can you hear
Um,
Maya?
no.
Okay. Our
Good.
kids are just being crazy in the background.
I was worried about them.
Mm,
So I think a lot of people fail to recognize that people put in the grind, and they think
yeah.
overnight success because of one thing put them over to the overnight success. Um, but that's basically my initial thought on that.
Okay, because you said there's like 1% of people who actually, so do you believe there are people who actually have like overnight success, like instant?
I do. And that can be as simple as, I think it depends on what industry you're in or what do you define as success, because are we talking about business, are we talking about social media, what are we talking about? Because there
Mm,
are people that have like will start a TikTok account and their first video literally
goes
has millions
viral.
of views, goes
It's true.
viral, and then all of a sudden they have this big ass community, and
Hmm.
now they're getting paid a lot of money for like brand deals, or if they work like with the company, or if someone just randomly like creates a product and then they create a TikTok and that video goes viral, then all of a sudden they're making a shit ton of money because their video went viral. But
Yeah,
the odds are against you. I don't think it happens as
often.
frequently, yeah, as often as someone who has worked for their overnight success.
Yeah, I guess part of me just assumes, but I think you're right. I think there are some people that it just happens because of technology. But
Mm-hmm.
my first thought was like, even those people in my mind, let's say they started a TikTok, made a video, went viral. I still feel like, but they probably have years of working on themselves or something, right? And then so then when they go on TikTok and open the account, now they get successful, but it wasn't without some sort of work. But because of technology, I do believe there could be like a 16-year-old that is bored and jumps on there and makes some viral video and takes off. So I think you're right. There are some people that experience literal overnight success. But just like Nat said, we have to realize that that is like maybe 1% of people, and we're not saying this to be like negative. I think we're saying it to be like realistic and give a realistic understanding of what it takes to reach your goals, because I think that the online space paints the picture of overnight success and makes it seem like 90% of people are having that experience. So then everyone thinks there's something wrong with them if they're not having overnight success, without realizing actually everyone who's experiencing a level of success has years of hard work behind it.
Correct.
Mhm.
Correct. There was an example that came to my mind, but I just lost it. Written it down. But most definitely, I think it's easy. And I think a lot of people want to paint the illusion of overnight success because it's a cover blanket for themselves.
To not
Um,
show your own like struggles. Yeah.
Correct. I think like, okay, by no means am I saying that I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm an overnight success, or like, oh my gosh, like I'm making all of this money, right? But like, just know that sometimes all it takes is for one video or for one post to set you on that momentum of overnight success.
Literally,
Literally, guys. And you
like
could
you're
be,
going through that.
I'm currently going through that. And the thing is that the people that have just started, and I'm talking about Magic Market, one video went viral. And because that video went viral, Um, Another account called Secrets of Los Angeles that has about 1 million followers got our video and reposted it on their page and tagged us. And we literally jumped from 3,000 followers to 10,000 in 6 days. Right now, I'm over,
Insane, dude.
yes, right now I'm over 12K followers.
Oh my gosh.
So, but what people fail to recognize is that those that have just started following the market probably think that it's overnight success, like, oh, this is a big market, overnight success. But the people that have been with me from the beginning when I started doing Magic Market at the studio know all of the hard work that I've put into it.
Hmm.
I believe this is my third year, 2021. I'm going on my third year of operating Magic Market come January.
Hmm.
And it's so weird because like time goes by. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna hit almost 3 years by the time we hit the beginning of next year. So I'm like, that's insane to me to think that the time went by that fast. But what I'm trying to say is that the people that were with me from the moment Magic Market began, they can see that that's not overnight success. But the people on the outside that are new think that it's overnight success.
Yeah.
Um, So, and before the market, this isn't my first endeavor as an entrepreneur. Before the
Hmm.
market, I have the studio, which I still have. The studio started in 2019. Um,
Hmm.
Before the studio, I had Bells and Shamu, which was a princess party. My entrepreneurial journey started in 2013 when I was 23 years old, 22 going on 23. I'm a
Hmm.
32-year-old woman now, right? And people that are barely coming in to this probably think like, oh, overnight success, but it's not. This is me grinding and hustling for the past 10 years. And because of one video, it seems like it's overnight success when it's not.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
people, like I said, people fail to see that if they are new to the circle.
Hmm.
But that's kind of like a little example that I wanted to give because it's a personal example. And I think it would also be great for Natalia to share her story as well, because by no means am I saying that like we're like millionaires, but I think that we have experienced like a good level of like success and we know what we're talking about. So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it would be great for you to share your story.
Okay. But first, actually, I had a question for you.
Mhm.
Um, okay, I want you to think back to the first ever magic market that you did.
Oh my gosh.
When you did that,
It was a baby.
I'm sure I can only imagine, like,
Yeah.
was it when you did that very first one? Because I know you've always been like community, like bring the community together, bring people together. So when you did the first one, did you like have the intention or the idea of like, oh, this is going to grow into this like big ass market? Or were you just kind of like, oh, I'm just doing this for fun and like to bring entrepreneurs together?
Just for fun and to bring entrepreneurs together. However, I would say like there was like a tiny little voice in my head because I would see a few big pop-up markets on my feed.
Hmm.
And a part of me kind of thought like, hmm, like imagine if Magic Market did that, but then I was like, nah, like not my thing.
Yeah.
So no, I didn't. I just thought it was going to stay small and just very, within that little community, but
Hmm.
it definitely expanded.
Yeah. And what's funny is I think for a while you did want to keep it small,
I did.
and now but I think it was meant to be small for a while and then now it's like meant to evolve into this bigger because I do think that well, it just depends because I was gonna say I do think success comes as we're ready for it. But I
Mm-hmm.
also think you can be a damn good manifester that manifests something you're not ready for and then lose it. Um,
I see.
but I do think for those of us that are on a more conscious journey, um, things come as we're ready for them, as we're evolving and as we're prepared to receive the growth that comes. Because when it comes fast. And if you're not ready,
Yes.
like it can really throw you off.
Yes. Yes. And also I feel like This was very recent. So this is like when I think of the future
Mm-hmm.
and when I just think of like the future and what the next year is going to look like, not just monetarily, but work wise, like my mind is so like it hasn't wrapped around like what that's going to look like. I feel like my
Mm-hmm.
physical body hasn't caught up and it's still trying to like really piece a lot of the things together.
Yeah.
Um, and it's insane how many opportunities can come your way and how much money you can make literally off of like, that one video that threw you over. And
Yeah.
I'm on like the entrepreneur side of like TikTok on social media. So I always heard and watched videos where they always said it just takes that one video. That one video is going to push you over the edge and it's going to change your life. And I always thought, like, how? Like, that's not possible. Like, how? And it
Now you
literally,
know how.
yeah, it literally just happens and it does. And
And I feel like in a way you manifested it because you saw that and you like believed it. Even if you didn't know the
yes,
how, I think because you've even said it to me, you're like, it just takes one video, it just takes, and you always say that. So I feel like you held on to it as a belief for yourself. And because of that, I think you literally manifested it.
yes, yes. And I I started kind of like brainstorming with myself and telling myself like, okay, I'm ready to start posting
Mhm.
on TikTok. And which is why I think I was really working on the branding and also working on the website and working on blah 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 blah. Because like I literally told you, like if I ever go viral, I need to make sure that I have
Like you
everything
were
ready.
ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
you literally like believed it, prepared for it, so then the universe like delivered it.
Oh my gosh, this is like the dots are connecting right now.
Yes, literally. Like that's what
So,
happened. And watching it happen is just like, oh
yeah.
my gosh, like it's amazing. Because literally, dude, in 6 days, getting that many followers, that's insane.
Yeah. And the
And
thing
now
is
your market's like sold out-ish,
yeah,
right?
and the thing is that like I think it also depends on what sort of like services you offer or whatever it is that you offer because you could go viral one time and that's it. And that's it for you.
Mm,
But if you are strategic about it, you can go viral multiple times where it's going to continuously change your life.
mm,
So you just need to make sure that, you're planned in every single way for it. And yeah, it's so weird because I always was kind of a little bit terrified of going viral. It didn't matter which account it was because I knew that I wasn't prepared for it. And I knew I had to
mm.
prepare for it. So
Yeah, but see that's so funny to me because like I don't do that. Like I'm not prepared to go viral
mm, and you
because
see,
I
because
don't I don't think of it that way. In my mind, I'm not like trying to go viral, to be honest with you. At least not right now. I think with the new branding I'm working on and the changes I'm making, I could see it then, but I think the way my business was set up, I could not handle going viral. So none of me was like ready for it.
exactly. So subconsciously, you're like, not ready, not going to do that,
Hmm.
not thinking about it. But you just told yourself right now with this new brand, I'll be ready
Hmm.
for it. So
Yeah.
we subconsciously block or attract our manifestations.
Yeah. And it's
No.
not so much like the brand, it's more what I'm offering and how I'm offering it.
Yeah.
Because the way I've been working up to this point is like, it's just me offering services. I don't need 10,000. I mean, I don't want to say that because like that's not my belief anymore with what I'm shifting into. But previously, when I was focused on more like one-on-one, what am I going to do with 10,000 people
Mhm.
when it's one-on-one versus now moving into like, if I have my courses and stuff like that, now it's like, yes, send me 10,000 people because I have the infrastructure, I have an offer that can handle a lot of people coming in. Like I remember there was a coach once that said, she was like, if a lot of you think you want a big business and that you're ready for it, but if Oprah literally talked about your business right now, would you be able to handle all the people that would come your way? Because if you wouldn't, you're not actually ready,
Perfectly said. Yeah.
which is the whole viral concept. It makes me think of when you were saying like you can go viral once and that's it. It made me think of like the bands that had one hit wonders and then just like disappeared. It's like, do you want to
Because
be a one hit wonder,
yeah, because
or
imagine if you went viral right now and your business wasn't capable of handling that and nobody could actually continue enrolling for your stuff and it just kind of fizzles out. You
yeah.
you wanna be ready for that. Um, and I remember because like I said, I'm on the entrepreneur side of like TikTok and how to grow and all of that stuff. But people are like, if you're posting shit on TikTok, on Instagram, and you go viral, make sure that you can make money from that because it'll
Mm-hmm.
leverage you so much. Because, like, for instance, people like, let's say I'm boasting about this pumpkin, right? And it's like the
Mm-hmm.
cutest pumpkin I've ever made, right? And it goes viral, it gets like 10,000 million views on it and or 10 million views on it, and everybody is like, where's that pumpkin from, where's that pumpkin from? And you just say like, oh, I bought it at Target, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, everybody's going to go buy that pumpkin from Target, but you're not going to make any commission from the pumpkin,
Mm-hmm.
right? But if you had your storefront set up with your affiliate links and you had this listed on your TikTok shop and this went viral with those 10 million views, now people could click that link
And you make
in your
money.
bio for your affiliate link or your TikTok shop, and now you make a commission off of this. And people make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of doing that with one product that goes viral. But it's like, are you set up? Are you actually set up to go viral or are you not?
Yeah.
So
Yep. And that what that makes me think of is like make sure you have your systems in place. Make
for
sure
sure.
you have things automated if they need to be or can be, because the last thing you want is to go viral and you don't actually, and things are broken or things aren't working or and I see this all the time, and it's a very simple exercise of like I make all my clients do this, like go on your Instagram or TikTok or wherever you're selling things, go to your link in bio, click on all your links, go on your website, click on all your links, make sure everything is working. Because I can't tell you how many times I've sat with clients who are like, no one's buying from me. And I'm like, okay, let's just make sure everything's working properly. And we'll go click on their links and oh, broken link, broken link.
Mhm.
And I'm like, I wonder why no one's buying from you.
Yeah.
Like your shit's not working, and
Yeah.
it's such a simple fix. So
Yeah.
make sure that things are working, that you have your systems. Because if you, again, can you handle it? If you had 10,000 people, Nat had 7,000 new followers in 6 days. If she was not prepared for that, that could have literally broken her business,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or it could have
Yeah.
been a flop for her.
Yeah. And I will share something that I learned this past time. So we're not in charge of the ticket sales, the museum is. And we're looking at changing that for the next event. But this is what I will say. I had we had well, I always had the intention to go viral, but I guess like we didn't anticipate it to happen so fast. And so
Hmm.
didn't the museum. So when the video went viral, we sold out of the first batch of tickets. And so my mind was like, we should have had all of these tickets listed. Like, why did we cap them out at 600? Um, and so I thought like all of the tickets should have been listed with different time slots just in case, right? But that was out of my control.
Yeah.
But that was also something that I learned that I was like, okay, like I could have been a little bit more prepared, but again, like that was out of my control.
Yeah.
So was it set up to handle all of that? It was, because a lot of people are waiting for tickets now and they're waiting.
Hmm.
And I know we're going to sell out entirely from the event, but that's also kind of like a learning lesson that I learned as well. It's like I am
Yeah.
prepared in all areas, but in that way I wasn't fully prepared. But if it was in my control, I would have been.
Hmm.
But it was like, we didn't anticipate for that to happen so fast. So
Yeah. And I think that's going to happen. Honestly, there's always going to be, even with a small business, I have little tech errors that happen. So I think there's always going to be little things. So we're not saying like it has to be perfect, because I don't know I think when you're expanding, especially when you're growing in business, there's problems at every level. There's
Mm-hmm.
new things to fix at every level. There's new, and I think, when people start the entrepreneurship journey and they're already complaining about all the problems, I'm like, get used to it, because a big part of being an entrepreneur is problem solving. So you better become freaking best friends with problem solving, because it's going to be part of the journey. Every time you grow, you're going to have to learn new things. You're going to have to implement new systems. So just get comfortable with problem solving.
Yeah, I agree. 1,000% agree. Okay, so would you like to share your story now?
Yes. So Nat shared something like really recent. I want to share more about kind of what happened for me last year because I think it fits perfectly for this topic. So going into last year, I really worked on my branding. I think it was a combination of three things that led to my overnight success. Um, and I think it was one, like really establishing a good brand with a website, because I had already built a business. I had services, I had clients. So I brought in the branding, and then it was a combination of two other things. One was I had a client who was an influencer, or she is an influencer. She has like a big following, and she became a client, and then she sent me a ton of people. And then I also worked with one of my previous mentors around that taught me about energy work. I worked under her business for a little bit, and that brought me a lot of clients as well. And so last year, my business just literally like exploded. And I had so many clients, like I had way too many clients. I was overbooked, I was overworked. Um, and my business did really well. It was like financially, I was like, oh my gosh, I hit six figures, like big goal. So what's funny is that I think in a lot of ways, it probably appeared as like overnight success, but the reality is that I've been coaching since I was like 23 years old and I'm 32, so like I've been coaching since then. I've been launching programs and courses, and I've had multiple failed launches and courses that didn't sell and struggled to get one-on-one and then got one-on-one clients, and it was very roller coaster, very back and forth. So while you could, take the time frame of a year and be like, oh my gosh, in 2022 my business took off and was booming and I had more clients than I knew what to do with, and I hit this big financial goal. It literally took like 7, 8 years of building to that. Um and I think what's interesting is like when I first found entrepreneurship and became interested in it, I started to study successful entrepreneurs, and I read their books. I listened to their podcasts, and I would just listen to stories of like how they became successful. And what I found was that the majority of them um, hit what they would consider success after 10 years of being in business. And so when I read that, I remember, and I was at the start of my journey, I remember asking myself, I was like, okay, if for some reason it was going to take you 10 years to be successful with business, would you still choose this path? Because if your answer is no, don't do it. This isn't the right path for you. But if your answer is yes, then do it. And I remember in that moment in time, I was like, yeah, I'm okay with that. Like, if it's going to take me 10 years, I'm okay with it taking that long. This still feels like the right path for me. And I think that's a good question to ask yourself, not because we're saying it has to take 10 years, but to me, it's like if you're going to build a business, be in it for the long haul. Don't
Mhm.
try to build this overnight business. Like, I think a lot of people believe they're just going to open their laptop and start a business and make a bajillion dollars. And yes, you can build a successful business online, and we're very lucky to be able to do this nowadays, but it is going to require putting in the work, being consistent, time, learning, failures, successes. So you're going to build, and then the success will come quickly. It won't feel quick because it'll be like 8 years or however
Yes.
long of building. And then that ninth year, that 10th year, then it comes. And so I think it's just having that awareness and like also not comparing, because I think sometimes people will start and then they try to compare, for example, to my business. And I'm like, I've been doing this for freaking 10 years and you've been doing this for 3 months. Of
Mhm.
course, you're not getting the same. Of course, I want you to get results and quickly, but also be realistic. Like,
Mhm.
you can't expect to, put on a freaking turtleneck and be Steve Jobs. Like, that's not how it works, Like,
Yeah.
anything that is worth having is work, and it can be fun work. I'm not saying it has to be like, oh my gosh, I dread it because I love the work that I do, but it still involves work that sometimes I don't want to do.
Yeah.
But I would rather do it for me than for somebody else. Um, so just know that like it will come quickly after a longer period of time.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. And you know, in rare cases it happens sooner than later, but I've always heard that the sweet spot was 5 years. But even
Hmm.
on my fifth year as an entrepreneur, I still didn't feel like it was enough. I
Yeah.
still felt like I had a long time to go. And that's a good question to ask yourself, that if it would have taken 10 years, would you still want to do it? You know,
Hmm.
um, because I would say that yes, I would want to as well. And a lot of entrepreneurs choose the entrepreneurial journey because of the freedom, and it's funny
Yeah.
that we're talking about that right now because Dan and I, we went for a walk um last night, and we were walking and we were talking about business and work, and he was like, man, like, what can I start, what can I do, and blah 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 blah. And so I started to ask him some questions because I was curious, because he keeps going back and forth with wanting to start a business, right?
Hmm.
And it's not so much that he's going back and forth with starting a business, but like with what to start. And so I was
Yeah.
like, okay, like I'm now I'm wondering, is it really that he wants to be an entrepreneur, or what is it? And I asked him, I
Hmm.
said, if you could make X, Y, and Z at a job doing what you love doing, would you be content with that without starting a business? And he said, yes. And then he asked me, would you? And I said, at a job doing what I like to do, making good money? No. And then he was like, why? I'm like, it's the freedom for me. I
Hmm.
love the freedom as an entrepreneur. And so I think that's a good distinction, like between someone who would want to do a business for themselves and for the freedom, because I think there's also a misconception that, because like you said, when you start a business, you think you're going to be making a shit ton of money. And a lot of the times that's not the case. And it takes a really long time. And then we were also walking by this guy's home, and he had like a 3-car garage. He had a ton of like old vintage cars with his bicycles and his toolbox, and he was like an older man, probably in like his 60s, and he was just smiling in his garage because he looked so happy to be in there doing his man stuff, right? And Dan
Hmm.
looked at him and he said, that man's lucky. And I said, why? And he said, because look at him. He's like, that's the kind of life I want. Like, he's just happy in his garage and blah, blah, blah. Like, yeah, he does look happy. But then I remember thinking, I'm like, he's a 60-year-old man. He worked a lot for that, you know?
Hmm.
And then my boyfriend tends to also be like, why can't I have that right now? And I'm like, you can't, like, I constantly have to tell him, like, you can't compare yourself to
Yeah.
someone that is further along in their path. And I
Hmm.
think that's what we all tend to do. We tend to compare our chapter one to someone's like final chapter, and it's just not, oh my God, really is. And it's just not possible to do that.
Yeah.
Can't do that because there is no comparison. You're on different tracks. This guy had a head start or has been running a marathon for the past 10 years, and you're barely on mile one because you just started running a marathon this year. Like,
Yeah.
there's just no comparison. So I like that you brought that up, because I think a lot of people tend to just compare their stories, and it's like, well, you have to realize that a lot of these people have put in years and years and years of work and are now being rewarded for it. And you can't compare that chapter to your own chapter. There's just no comparison.
Yeah. You
Mm-hmm.
just it like you can't have people's wins without having their struggles.
Yeah.
You can't. Like, and that's what a lot of you guys wanted. You're like, I want the mansion or the lifestyle or the money or the freedom or the cars or whatever. But they did something to obtain that. They worked
Yes.
on something, they sacrificed something, they chose something, they made hard decisions to get to where they are today. And some people, I think, are delusional in thinking, I just want to wake up to it tomorrow and like not have to do anything. And it's like, if it were that easy, everybody would just have it. But also, would you even really appreciate it? Would you even really value it? Would you even understand the foundation of how you got there so that you can do it again? Um,
And are you
you
ready to handle
wouldn't.
that?
Yeah. Like you have to build up to that as a person in your life. You just can. And I just feel like there's just people out there that just want to like not do it, not put in the hard work, not invest, not be disciplined, not be consistent, not get help from people, not learn from experts, and they just want to like be cute and like I'm just gonna like build my little shit and hopefully like it takes off. And it's like that's not how it works. Like
Yeah.
you either way, the way that I see it is like either way you have to work your ass off. You just got to decide whether you're going to do it for yourself or for somebody else. And I personally would like to do it for me. Like I'm the same as Nat. For me, it's all about the freedom. You can't, it just would be very, very hard for me to ever want to work for someone because to me, it's about the freedom. It's, yes, the money's great. I love my work, but ultimately, like the freedom is why I do it.
I guess sometimes I sit and think, I'm like, how could I ever go back to a job after being an entrepreneur for 10 years?
I think we would
No
get fired the
way.
first day.
Oh, 1000%. Like, I hear people and like they tell me like stories about like coworkers and what their coworkers are like. And I'm like, and you deal with that? You let your
Yeah.
manager talk to you like that? Like, are you kidding? I would flip the table and
Yeah.
before they fire me, I'll be like, F you bitches, I'm out. There's just no way in hell.
I literally got fired from my last job for talking back. So,
Oh no.
I mean, it was the right thing to
Yeah. Yeah.
do.
Yeah. Some
I was
people need
standing
to,
up for the people.
yeah, no, oh, I don't want to get into that tangent.
I know we're like, ugh. But yeah, you just really got to be smart about your choices and be disciplined about them. If you really want something, show that. Show that with your actions, show it with your effort, show it with your energy. But things don't just magically happen. Manifesting is a co-creation. Like Nat manifested going viral. And she did that by literally taking the action. Like she believed it, but then she like prepared for it. She made the reels consistently. She showed up, like she put in the work. The universe can't work with nothing. So because Nat brought like all the ingredients, the universe was able to be like, okay, thank you. Here you go. Like, thank you for putting everything in its place so we could literally make it happen for you. But it was a co-creation. I don't think it would have happened if she wasn't making reels and she wasn't preparing and she wasn't doing her part. So I think it's an opportunity to like check yourself and say, am I doing my part? Am I really showing the universe that I want this, that I believe in it, and that I'm willing to show up for it?
Beautifully said. I agree. Mhm. Like we could end it there. That was so
I
good.
know. I'm like, do I have anything else? I don't think so.
I don't think I have anything else to say either. because that's all there really is to it.
Yeah. Make it happen.
The time is going to pass by anyway. The 10 years are going to
Yes.
pass by. So, do you want the 10-year mark? If being an entrepreneur and being a successful entrepreneur is what you really want, do you want the 10-year mark to begin now? Or do you want it
Mhm.
to start in 5 years, which in reality will be 15 years? Ask
Yeah.
yourself, are you willing to do the work?
Yeah. I don't know why I was thinking about that today, about how there's people right now who are in the exact same place as they were last year because they're repeating the cycle of like pushing things off or not taking the action they need to take or not making the investments or not saying yes. And they're just living in the same loop over and over and over again. And it's like, if you're in the same place you were last year or in a worse place or not in the place you want to be, you need to start taking different action because otherwise you're going to what month are we in? September 2024 is going to come and you're still going to be in the exact same place. So, like Nat said, the time's going to pass. What are you doing with it?
Mm-hmm. That's going to be a real. Oh my goodness.
I have nothing else to say.
Me either, but this is exciting times. And I'm excited to see your new brand. I'm excited.
Actually, it was made by Natalie's.
It really wasn't, guys. No, I'm like, send me your Pinterest board. She already knew what her brand was. She just needs a little bit of help with like how to piece it together. But Natalia knows
I
what
feel
she
like you
wants.
created it.
No, I think deep down inside, we all know what we want. I didn't create your Pinterest boards for you. All I did was take
True.
photos from your Pinterest board and colors that you were interested in. And that's all I did for you. Everything
Mm.
else, you already knew what you wanted. You just didn't know how to piece it together. So,
But if it wasn't for you, it would have stayed a Pinterest board because I needed the help. And that's why we're saying ask for help because
yeah,
like I
definitely.
needed the help with like the bringing it together.
And
So
vice versa. Sometimes when I need strategy help, I'm always there asking Natalia. I'm like, yo, hello. And she's like, okay, well, this is what you got to do. So,
yeah. So
yeah.
get help if you're trying to build your business alone. That's literally the worst thing you could do.
You guys are literally listening to a business coach. Like, do you not realize that? Hire Natalia. You're literally listening to a business coach right now.
And Nat will have something very soon that you can
Yes.
hire her for.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, you can't wait.
Exciting times. I don't know. It's just exciting. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like you and I did a lot of growing in 2023. Like,
100%.
so the year when I was 27, that was my favorite year. I was always really excited to be 27. I don't know why I always thought 27 was like the most perfect, like sexy age. Like whenever I heard 27, I was like, it's beautiful. And I had a
Mm.
beautiful year. But I think this year I didn't do like as much I didn't travel at all in 2023 actually. Um, but like emotionally and like financially and like business, it's been my best year.
This year.
Yeah. And I'm really,
Mm.
really like happy and just like excited. And there has been a lot of up level, but just because it's also, I think, has been my best year,
Hmm.
it doesn't mean that there hasn't been struggles. Because
Yeah.
I will say that the year that I met my boyfriend, that year, I thought that was also one of my best years. But business wise and financially, I wasn't at my best. But dating him, I felt like that was one of my best years because I was dating him and I was in like that honeymoon phase. So I was like, man, I'm so in love and I'm so happy right now. But this
Yeah.
year overall, it's like an overall sort of like best year sort of thing. So, just I think it's good to only be in competition with yourself to want to grow every single year.
Hmm.
but I'm just excited because I feel like the same for you. I feel like you have learned a lot about yourself this year, and you've been doing a lot of healing and a lot of like feminine work. And I think the way that you're dating now, the way you treat yourself, the way you do work, I think everything has changed and has shifted for you. And I just think it's a matter of time before the next possible suitor that's gonna ask for your hand in marriage is gonna
Oh
come.
my gosh. Overnight success, but not
No. And
overnight
I
marriage,
feel
but
like,
not overnight marriage.
and I feel like your business as well. I feel like you've been getting a lot of clarity business wise too, and your business has been growing as well. So I feel
Yeah.
like, I think it's been a great year.
Yeah. I think for me, it's been a transitional year. But I
Yeah.
knew that going in
Yes.
energetically. I knew I'm like, this is a transitional year. And I was like,
You
damn
did
it.
know
I always
that.
hate that when you're going in and you're like a whole last year of transition. Like, thanks, spirit team. But
Yes, you did
but
know
I
that.
feel really good about 33 because it's the Jesus Christ year. The Christ year is like what they call it. I don't know if that's like astrologically or something, but and my name literally means birth of Christ. So for some reason,
Mhm.
I've always felt like 33 is just going to be like a crazy ass year for me in a really good way. Because last year was really good for me. This year's been a transitional year. And I feel like next year is just going to be like, I'm just going to be popping off.
I love that. I wonder what your number is for your year next year.
I'll have to see.
Yeah. Because that'll tell you in what year you're going to have success. What area of your life you're going to have success in.
Oh, I'll have to see because I feel like right now through the end of this year, I'm setting the foundation for that.
Mhm.
And then I think next year is like, I don't know. I just feel like shit's gonna happen next year.
I love that. And you're prepping for all of it right now.
And I think it's important for you guys to know that. And this is why it's not overnight success, because I think it's understanding the layers that lead to the success.
Mhm.
All of us have good years, bad years, transitional years, different seasons. That's a part of the journey.
Yeah.
And when you learn to embrace that, like I went to this year just like, okay, whatever, I surrender to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Remember
fine.
in January, you were like, okay, spirit guides, whatever. Just do what you got to do.
Yeah. I was like, I'm all right. I was, because at this point I've learned like you just got to go with it. And because the more you resist it, the harder it's going to be. So
Yeah.
just go with it. It's for your own good.
Mhm. Yeah. So, yeah. In summer, I feel like we both have had a really good year, whether it's been growth or transitional.
For sure.
And transition is always good because you know that you're about to hit that, you're about to turn that corner, and
Yep.
it's gonna be a whole new view for you, and everything is just gonna make sense. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Exciting.
excited.
Oh, we're
I know.
almost at 2024.
Oh my
It's crazy,
God.
but exciting.
I'm glad because I'm ready to be done with this year.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to be done with transition. Like it's been a very transitional year for me. And not
Mm,
in a bad way, but I'm just like ready for but I feel like it's coming. I think it's starting for me now. So I'm
yeah.
excited.
Yeah. Very exciting stuff.
Yay.
Alrighty. Well, I don't think I have anything else to say.
Me neither.
Okay. I think we'll end here then.
Yes.
Okay. You close out because I started.
Okay. Goodbye. I'm just kidding. Yes. Well, what do I want to say? Don't forget to fill out the form if you have questions for us. We'll be doing an episode at the end of this month answering your guys' questions, giving advice. You can submit anonymously, so you don't have to say who you are. If you just want our input on something, think of it as like older sister advice. Sign up for the workshop. We would love to see you guys there. And hopefully, this episode was helpful and that it motivated you. I know we're very straightforward and very direct. That's just how we both are. But it comes from a place of love because we want you guys to succeed. We want you to hit your goals. So that's why we give it to you
Yes.
straight. So yeah.
Yes. If you're triggered by bluntness or by someone telling you the truth, I think you need to look at that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But thank you guys for joining, and we will see you in the next episode.
See you guys next week. Bye.